All right, Chris. Well, thank you for joining us today here in the multiverse in this streaming VR cast. I'm really excited to share everything with the people in front of us right now about what you're doing. Ever since I met you, I think I was just inspired to go further with my imagination, and so really appreciate you not only doing what you've done for your school, and we'll tell you all about that that's watching in a minute, but also about what you have in mind for education. So, without any further ado, can you just, for everybody watching today, can you say your name and your title and your district, of course, just general housekeeping?
Absolutely. My name is Chris Nitti, and I am the Digital Age Coordinator for the Hoquiam School District in Hoquiam, Washington. It's a bit of a fancy title, and when I first got it, I didn't quite comprehend what it meant. But now I've understood that what I'm doing is coordinating my district's rise into the digital age. I inherited a technology department just last year. This is my first year as an administrator, and my technology department was a little bit behind the times. And I have done every effort I can make to correct that with great force. We are now headed very much for the future, and that is in collaboration with VEDX Solutions.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, there's a lot of districts. What you say is they're a bit behind in getting up to date for the engagement of their students with technology. This isn't just another technology, as you know. I don't need to tell you, but for those watching, any educators watching us, this is definitely a catalyst, if you will. And I'm curious, after all of our conversations, when I first saw Hoquiam and I first saw Hoquiam School, I went up there personally, of course, because you had inspired me to do this in person. I was I was thinking out loud in my car. I was telling myself, "Wow, this is amazing. This small town now has a virtual reality media center, essentially, and we'll tell you more about that. But a media center at this high school, and not only are you using it to teach, but you're using it for so much more. So tell me how you came across this vision and what that vision means for education."
Well, it's a very interesting combination of personal factors that led to this. One of which that's interesting is my own condition of aphantasia. I don't have any capacity to see images or hear sounds in my head. I
Hmm.
don't have an imagination. And it's very interesting that when you go and you look up the definition of reality, it's simply contrasted for the average layperson as different from imagination. So, lacking in imagination, VR fascinated me personally.
Huh.
And I saw the potential for bringing information to students in a way that didn't beg them to imagine that this was useful right now, to imagine that this was something they were interested in, or to
Hmm.
imagine what was going on in the curriculum. This was a way for us to bring the actual reality of the curriculum directly to our students. And
Right.
I love that you mentioned engagement, Jay, because engagement for me is the cornerstone, the foundation of all education. Because if
Hmm.
you don't have your students' engagement, you don't have anything. You
Right.
can't build it. It's like the foundation of Maslow's hierarchy. If we were building one for education, engagement for me is the foundation. And there is nothing more engaging in my experience than putting students directly into the world of their curriculum and what they're learning.
Hmm. And you really hit the nail on the head there. That engagement and being foundational, it and especially when it's experiential learning, as virtual reality can be, because 98% increase in long-term memory storage with engagement and experiential learning. Virtual reality has shown in studies 78% increase over lectures. It's just amazing, but and it makes sense because experiential. And even prior VEDX, you had started kind of as an architect of doing all of this. And tell everybody watching a little bit more about your esports team that you set up.
I just did a great podcast about that with cleverbooks.eu. And it was about the three kinds of digital classrooms, from a foundational one to an exploratory one to a pioneering one. And I am proud to say that Hoquiam has all three of those in place now. Like I said, I did inherit a technology department that was behind the times. So this year I took over $800,000 worth of grant money to build a true one-to-one fleet, and also to create a standardized teacher presentation station that was digital, based on interactive flat panels. And we have rolled that out this year in order to build, again, a foundation. Now, all of our students have a Chromebook that is less than 1 year old, and every teacher has an amazing ViewSonic view board that they can use to directly interact with their students digitally, whether they are present or not. This is an interactive solution that allows us to create a foundational digital classroom, one that is at least with the times right now.
Mm-hmm.
But
and and with students' interest. I mean, your Chromebooks and the ability to put the augmented reality on the Chromebooks through Cleverbooks, and you're doing that too. So it's just a lot of exciting things for this digital classroom. Yeah, go ahead.
The thing we're doing here is attempting not just to get to the near future, but to get to the far future. And that's what VetX Solutions has really helped us do. By bringing in 30 VR headsets, we have opened up the doors to things that have not even been dreamed of yet. Because, of course, we have a fabulous software package that came with these headsets, with this solution. I can take students and teach them foreign languages at their own pace in full interactivity. I can bring them every kind of lecture or experience from traditional classrooms from around the world. I can put them in experiential situations, and all of that is astounding. But that's not the limit of where we're going.
Right.
Here at Hoquiam, we have a broader vision, and much of it has to do with a class that I am very honored to be leading starting next year, and it's going to be called the Hoquiam World Forge. This class is a carefully selected group of just 20 students who are going to be the world's first VR game development studio in a high school in the world. Because it's one thing to take curriculum that has been produced and say, yes, this is fabulous. This is a supplement. This is a great addition to what we're doing. But with the Hoquiam World Forge, I can teach these 20 students to build virtual worlds, custom designed to match the curriculum my students need to learn at any age. We will take orders from, say, a fourth grade team that might be interested in teaching their students astronomy. And then my high school World Forge students will take the learning standards, the learn targets, all of that curriculum, study it themselves, and then produce an interactive world that these students can enter and live their curriculum designed custom for them by students at their own school. And this is something that I think we're bringing to the world that's brand new.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was really excited when we talked through those ideas, bringing together 3D object design and art, bringing together Unity and Unreal. The fact is, in your world building class, let's take those fourth graders who had an astronomy lesson. Fairly straightforward. There's a lot of astronomy out there in VR, but what you could do, really, you're going to take this world building class, build a scene in Unity, and then with your content creator that you have through Victory XR and Engage, you're going to then be able to insert that into that content, and Hoquiam owns that onward. So those fourth graders can take that again and again and again in virtual reality, and that's what's super exciting too. Is I can't wait to see some of the stuff that comes out of your Forge class, because these students that are putting content up for your school into this content builder, and then learning how to do so many skills before graduation. You don't always have to go through a 4-year degree, especially when you're in a small town that had limited resources cut from the previous industry, and you're remaking yourself. And those students can graduate, literally work virtually in virtual reality, the skills they're learning at the high school. And I would say that's a evolution, both.
And you're exactly right. This, I believe, is one of the first and real major evolutions in education that we have. I was a Latin teacher and taught ancient languages, and one of my fascinations has been with Sumerian. And we know that 5,000 years ago, classrooms looked very similar to a paper and pencil classroom today. They may have used clay, but they had an instructor standing up in front, and they repeated exercises and learned in the way that we have learned for 5,000 years. But now, with the ability to bring new realities into the picture, to extend reality, we now have the ability to grant students full access to the information and autonomy as they learn. If we in the WorldForge design these projects and worlds properly, then a student can explore them to whatever depth they choose and lead and guide their own learning and find their creation in that space we create.
Yeah, one of the most impactful pieces of VR I've seen many now, but in the beginning, when I first saw the recreation of a slave ship, although graphic, it really solidified the experience of what people went through being kidnapped and brought to America and to other countries on slave ships, and you can read about it in a history book, but then if you go back in history and you sit there and you watch it happen, it doesn't go away in your mind.
Very true, because we go back to that distinction between imagination and reality. When you put a dead image on a textbook in front of a student, it's there, and then you must ask them, as Shakespeare asked in Henry V, that we appeal to your imagination, because can this wooden O of the Globe Theater, contain the casks that did affright the air at Agincourt? He says, there's no way I can simulate the cannons that actually were at this battle.
Right.
Well, I can now, thanks to FedEx Solutions. I can go and actually put my students in the situation and not ask them to imagine it. And exactly as you said, that is so much more impactful, and will create those little moments of inspiration that change students' lives. It only takes one for any student for them to really understand and grasp that deep experiential reality. Because people talk about virtual reality as if it's something a little distaff or a little separate from this physical reality we happen to be in. But I see this future. I see where this is moving. And as this gains higher fidelity and we continue to build, what's to say that once I've built an astronomy show this year with my WorldForge, that I can't read that next year and make it even deeper?
Right.
There's nothing stopping us. And so we have the ability to get extremely deep with this, and these assets that we build, because we have the tools, will remain with us, will remain ours, and then we can share them with the world.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited, Chris. Let's take a couple of shots of your grand opening. I think you had a potluck to show students and parents, and just something fun for them to interact all together in.
Absolutely.
Do you have that? Can you show us kind of what that looked like?
I have some video from our camp that we did, but let me talk about that potluck and VR party, because we had our headsets delivered on July 11th, and on July 13th, we were already prepared to deploy. My WorldForge students came for a potluck, and then we held a VR party in Remio, one of our applications that came with our set. It is a perfect paradise. It is absolutely astounding for team building. So we went in there and shot some baskets and played some paintball, some escape room games. And what was incredible was the moment when I had these students who were carefully selected not to be the 4.0 popular kids in the school, but a very diverse group to prove that we can reach any student, whether they are in special education or whether they are, experiencing homelessness or not. We can take every student and bring them together. They were in this place collaborating, having social emotional experiences. And I said, okay, take a moment, take the headsets off and look at these people who you are bonding with right now. And there was wonder on their faces because many of them didn't even know each other before that night.
I didn't even think of that, Chris. That's an amazing example of breaking down barriers. I haven't thought of that. All these years doing this, I hadn't thought of bringing together cultural and economic backgrounds, putting the VR headset on. It normalizes and flattens the field because everybody has a pick of avatars. It's just their avatars, and then you have all this interaction, and you take your headset off, and you're like, look around now, who you just bonded with, and that's really powerful.
And that's what we're doing here. And beyond just that potluck, a week after the delivery of our headsets, I held Washington State's first virtual reality camp, in which we played a game called Echo VR. It's a very athletic game in which there's a discus in an arena and two teams of 4 that need to essentially go after that disc and then try to shoot it through their opponent's goal. Seems simple. It's easy to understand, but it has very complex strategy, very complex tactics. There's even a combat mechanism within the game where, you can punch someone with the disc and they drop it, or you can block
hockey
and do all this stuff. So my camp looked a little bit like a karate dojo as I was sitting there punching, blocking, ducking, jumping, doing all these things. And I'd love to show you just a 1-minute video here.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look.
With me narrating a little bit, and I'll show you what that looks like. Here we are. It's a tense match between orange and blue here, as we see two teams fighting it out in the Echo VR arena. This is what it looks like inside the game. There's our goal. Oh, there was a shot on goal, and orange sends it out. Blue and orange running for it. Blue's got the disc. Oh, and a steal. It's floating there. This is the action of Echo VR. Shot taken on goal, but it's a miss. Orange has it. Oh, it's stolen by blue.
So much action, man.
Yeah. Wow, this is an action.
I wish my summer camps were like that.
And blue takes it downfield for the attack. Oh, that's orange. Orange down. This is Echo VR.
Very cool.
So, yeah. And so my students, I had 16 attend this camp. So we had 4 teams of 4. And then on our 4th day of camp, we did a live stream on Twitch and on Facebook of our students having semifinals and then a final. And anyone can watch that at twitch.tv/Hoquiam esports. That video is up and live, and you can watch 45 minutes of amazing Echo VR action because we don't stop with just holding a camera. We stream too. It's not enough for us to be on the cutting edge. We've got to be on the bleeding edge.
I can't wait to see this year, Chris, and work closely with you. As you know, VetX, when we partner up with a district or high school, we're in it for the long game, not just selling some licenses and delivering, but I want to see these programs develop and build on themselves. And as you know, I introduced you to a couple of educators in New York who are just getting their feet wet. And I was excited for you guys to network maybe as that curriculum is developed in the class. And for all the other educators out here watching today or in the future, please reach out. We want to build a network of high school educators working together with VR to put it inside of curriculum, inside of syllabus, and use it functionally with their students. There's so much potential in CTE, in history, in literature, in music, and math. And for your own teachers, any one of them that get excited about it, like Chris is a example of somebody who heard about it and then was just on board and let's do this, let's make this happen. And like he said, he was a Latin teacher. He didn't come from a technical background. And the content builder that we include in the VR headsets, that allows you to record content at the school and keep it. So I want to say thank you. But before we go, I want to see if you have anything else to talk to the future. Well, because we're right now in front of the multiverse, talking with a lot of folks here in the VEDx campus arena. I want to know what's next for people watching in multiverse. You put a store up. You have your own space. So what's next for your teams?
We are extremely proud to be the first K-12 district to take up residence in the multiverse at 4 Willoughby Walk Central Education District. We are right near VEDx, and we're extremely happy that we were there on May 19th this year. And we are building as much content as we can and looking forward to the option to literally share all of this content that we're building live on the multiverse, so that multiverse users can access and work with the content that we create. I've had some exciting conversations with Chris C., one of the lead developers of Multiverse, and he has expressed excitement about this World Forge concept that we're working on. And there may be a possibility of collaboration there. We're hoping to produce educational simulations and games that students don't even know that they're doing schoolwork with. I want to produce things that they ask, can I do that again once they're done with it?
That's the ticket.
And we want to bring that to the multiverse.
Yeah.
So we are here to share. As you notice in my background, I am unafraid to put my contact details right up there so you can reach me at any time. Awesome. And when you look for me in the multiverse, I don't use a code name or a gamer tag. I'm Chris Nitti. And you can find me anytime.
I'm Admin J.
Yep. And it's important for us to have those real personalities here, because what I envision in the future is a reputational kind of a metaverse where what we do in the metaverse, in the multiverse, is something that really is of us as the real human beings we are. And in expanding this reality and treating it not as some game or something we're playing at, but as a real world that we are building. Yeah. And I'm excited to build it with all of the rest of you.
That's awesome. Thank you, Chris. We're out of time, but I just want to say thank you again for being a pioneer. On our upcoming new website, we have a pioneers section where you will be featured for what you are doing at the Hoquiam School District in Washington State. So thanks again, and I look forward to more conversations. I also look forward to watching your esports team stream live in the multiverse.
We are
I hope that schedule comes up and when school starts. So we'll see you there.
Hoquiam Esports is hoping to start a VR league that may be the first high school league in the world. Who knows? The future is wide open.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris. Have a great day.
Absolutely. You too.
Bye, everybody. Oh, by the way, everybody watching, come see us every 2 weeks. This VR cast happens every 2 weeks in the multiverse. Stay tuned for the next VR cast in 2 weeks from today. Okay. Bye.